Q7 question 1 for gait states which muscle action controls the knee from loading response to mid-stance. In other words, from 15 degrees of flexion to 0 degrees of flexion. 0 degrees of flexion being full extension. So at that point in gait where you're going from a bent knee to a fully straight knee. The answer is concentric knee extensors or quadriceps, right? Because when the knee is bending and then going all the way straight, the quadriceps is performing a shortening type of contraction, right? The muscle is getting shorter as you move from a bent knee to a straight knee. So the answer must be concentric knee extensors. Some of you chose eccentric knee extensors, and if the question had stated what controls the loading response or from initial contact through the loading response, the answer would be eccentric quadriceps, because at initial contact the knee is fully straight and then you go into about 15 degrees of knee flexion, and when you go from a straight knee to a bent knee, the quadriceps muscle is elongating, and that must therefore be an eccentric contraction. This part of the gait cycle is when you absorb shock, so you hit the ground and then you bend your knee a little bit to absorb shock and bear weight through that extremity for stance phase. And after you go through that eccentric knee flexion, you go straight back up to a straight knee for mid-stance, and that is again controlled by a concentric contraction. So just think about, is the muscle shortening or lengthening during that phase of gait? If it's lengthening, then it must be an eccentric contraction. If it's shortening, it must be a concentric contraction. And another example is at the ankle for initial contact. The ankle hits the ground in a neutral position, and then the foot comes down to the ground during the loading response. And that is controlled by eccentric tibialis anterior, because the tibialis anterior muscle is lengthening as you go from 0 degrees at the ankle down towards plantar flexion as the foot comes down towards the ground. All right.